Angel Creations. Welcome back to my New Hampshire craft room. Hey everybody, I hope you're doing well today. It's another warm one here in New Hampshire. I think it's like 92. And I am out in the garage crafting. Okay, so today's craft, I'm thinking it's going to be a little, not too quick, but quicker than it would be if I did every single thing in front of you, because you know you're watching me because you're a crafter, so you know how to do everything I'm going to do, like cut metal pans and string beads. So I have previously done that so that we can get this craft on with. So if you guys are wondering, so I did not bring an Angel Creation apron with me, and I have my regular clothes that I don't want to get ruined crafting, so I grabbed a tablecloth from my sister's craft stash and made myself an apron and buttons and all. So if you've been wondering why I've been decked out in a plastic tablecloth, that's why. All right, so today's craft is going to be using mostly Dollar Tree things. So this sign came this way, and it had a big whale, and it said, "Welcome to our home." So I just flipped it around, and I've already painted it white with with Waverly chalk paint. And we're going to be using a picture out of the 2022, I believe. Yeah, the 2022 12-month calendar from the Dollar Tree. And it looks like this one. And we're going to be using January, which I've already cut to size. And it looks like this. And I've cut that so that I have like a ruler size, almost an inch on either side to wrap around my board. And I then took some metal from these cooking concept, what are they called? Well, they're calling them cookie sheets, but we call them like pan protectors if you put them in the cookie sheet you're already using. So I've already destructed one of those, and I made myself 2 strips. And I did the same thing. I used my ruler, also from Dollar Tree, and all I did was take a Sharpie and I just traced 2 widths of that. Then I just folded in the edges so it wasn't sharp. And we're going to be using 6 wooden beads and some jute for our hanger. I already hung those, or strung those, I should say. So let's clear off the craft space here and get started. I am going to use a little bit. Now, I don't know if any of my crafters are familiar with this. You probably are. It's new to me. My sister turned me on to this Kilns dark wax, ceiling dark wax, and I'm just loving the technique. It's not just like antique Waverly wax, because it's totally different, but it gives the idea, the same technique, you know what I'm trying to say. So I am going to zhuzh this up just a little bit, and I love when these have the arches, but I'm not going to make it look like shiplap on here, because I want this, it's not going to blend in because this is darker, but I want it to not be shiplap because it's not shiplap behind that, if that makes any. I'm just keeping it consistent. So you just dab your brush into that wax, and it's like a shoe polish. It reminds me of an old wax shoe polish. I don't even know if that would be right, because I think people still use that shoe polish. And then I'm just going to be coming in from my edges, and I like to go lightly at first, and then I give it more pressure as I go. I get the feel for it, kind of. And then I'm going to turn this around, and I'm going to come in from the edges out here. Let me dab my brush a little more. And I'm just coming in from the edges. I like to go one way with my, usually with my antique Waverly wax, but today it is the Kilns dry wax I'm really loving. And then once you go towards the middle, you can give it a little more pressure. and give it some real dimension. And if you give it too much and you don't like it, you can always go back in with some of your white chalk paint, or even a baby wipe sometimes will blend that. Like, let me see if I can show you. Do I have a wet baby wipe? Let me get a wet baby wipe. I just refilled those. So, okay. So let's just say, I'm good with this, but let's just say I went too dark. I want to remove that. If you take a baby wipe, you can get a lot of that off. So baby, it's very forgiving. Here, we'll do it on both just to make sure it's consistent. And it also blends. So I'm really loving this wax. Now we have to dry this a little bit, but that's pretty good anyway. I was about finished with that. I like to come in from my edges a lot, and I still go up the same way, but I like the corners dark because it looks more weathered, and I like the edges darker because it gives it a nice outline, dark outline. I think I told you guys this before, but when I was a kid, I was one of those kids that when I used a coloring book, I always colored in my shapes with a dark crayon first, and then colored the picture in it in a lighter crayon, if that makes any sense. Okay, so here is our board now, all grungied up. Now, I'm going to Mod Podge our... So what this says is, when you love what you have everything you need. Isn't that a nice saying? I love that. So now we are going to just Mod Podge that on right in the middle of our board. Clean my sister's Mod Podge thing because you can't get it open. I'm so fussy about my jar caps because I have arthritic hands. So if I keep it clean around the edges, I can open it every time. So I'm just going to smear some Mod Podge on the back of our picture. Probably need to dip my brush. Instead of on the board, I'm just putting it on the back of my picture, and I want it thin. I don't want it really, really heavy because it will wrinkle our picture. So you want a thin coat, but you have to make sure that you coat the whole thing. And I don't have a glue stick here, but handy. My sister probably did have one, but I didn't find one. So you could just use a glue stick just as well. All right, so now we're just going to place this and eyeballing it right in the middle. I have words, it has words, so we're going to try to make sure our words are centered as much as possible. And then we're going to just smooth it out. And I think I have, yeah, let's see. I have a Dollar Tree scraper. You can use a debit card or anything like that too. Dollar Tree sells some really good scrapers in their cake decorating sections now. All right, I gotta put a little more Mod Podge there and a little more in this corner because we really want our corners good and secured. So we'll do the same down here. I'm listening to the birds. My sister has such a beautiful oasis. Although yesterday I am a sore unit today, friends. A sore unit. So yesterday, if you saw last night's video where I did the vintage handkerchief craft, the thumbnail for that was taken in my sister's backyard down, let me move this out of the way, down on a beautiful rock near a beautiful tree in her beautiful yard, and I really just wanted a beautiful outside picture of that. So I went down the hill and I climbed on a rock, and the rock was probably a yardstick, 3 feet tall. Not that bad. And I climbed on it, and I put I put my craft on it. And then I'm going to just use my glue gun for this side. And then I took my picture for it. And then I climbed back up on the rock so I could get my craft down. And I stepped down backwards off the rock. Well, that's fine, except for I didn't realize how far down Earth was. So I misjudged. So when I stepped back down, it went a lot further than I was expecting to go. And I knew I was falling. And I have a huge back surgery and a neck surgery, both fusions. And so I knew I was falling, and I knew I was falling on my back, and I didn't want that to happen. So I threw my body around in the whole motion of everything. Don't you wish you had a camera so you could see it all in slow motion? What came first? I don't know. But anyway, then I landed on my knees and elbows, but somehow I really hurt my side, and it's up under my right breast, so it's like I'm holding my boob. Like, that's pretty, isn't it? All right, so we have our picture on here. Now we're going to do the same technique. We're going to drag more of that dark wax across it. So anyways, I get on the ground, and then I kind of like, so my phone went one way, the craft went another way, I went another way, and I'm on the ground, and you know, I'm like, ugh! And so I'm just like laying there for a minute like, okay, didn't break anything, did I? So now I'm going to drag some of this wax right back over this picture so we can kind of tone down the shininess of it. So I lay there for a minute, and I figure, okay, I'm good to get up. So I get up, and I brush myself off, and I'm like, good, I'm good. That's nothing, I'm good. I'm okay. And then I came back in here to the craft room, and I sat down, and I was getting today's craft actually ready to do. And the longer I sat here, the more I hurt. It started coming on. The pain started coming in my ribs here. I'm not sure it's even a rib. I'm sure it's probably a muscle. Anyway, this is what we got, so it's not as shiny now. No. All right. Then I said, oh my gosh. So anyways, I'm a hurting unit today. I didn't break anything, thank you Lord. My angels were with me. I also fell on grass, so that was a good thing too. Oh, you know what? I want to keep this wax out because I'm going to dull down the shininess of, you could probably get the same effect with tinfoil now that I think of it. I liked the texture. I like the bumps that it has. So anyways, I ended up being a hurting unit, but that's okay. We can take hurting as long as nothing's broken. You know, I'm up here visiting my sister. I'm also going to be visiting my brother in Massachusetts. My sister is here in New Hampshire, and I have a best friend up here in New Hampshire. And when I say best friend, I mean we talk every single day, many times a day. We're besties, but she's in New Hampshire, so we were counting down the days until I could come up and visit her. And then she fell walking her dog and broke her ankle, and so bad that she had to have surgery. So I just went and visited her a couple of days ago in rehab. So we were supposed to go to Kennebunkport, Maine, and, you know, poor thing, she fell broke her ankle and had to have surgery. So I'm so blessed that when I fell, I only am sore. So feeling very, very blessed that I am only sore. All right, so still putting some of this wax on our tin foil, and now we have to get the glue, no, the heat gun. I always say glue gun. We got to get the heat gun out and give it a good dry, because it will just rub off if we don't. So you guys don't need to watch me dry paint, but this is what we have so far. So let me just give this a little drying up, and then we'll be right back. Okay, we're back. So now we are going to glue. So up at the top here, where my heart is located, there's a hole from where it was a calendar. So we want to cover that hole. So I'm going to put a piece of strap, or I'm calling it strap, right over the edge so that it's covering a little bit of the paper and a little bit of the board that it's on. So I'm just going to, oh, I need a glue stick in here. Of course I do. So, and then we're just going to wrap the rest of it right around the back, just like we did with the paper. So I'm just going to put a good line of glue right there at the top, and I'm just going to put my, and I'm going to use this to hold it because it's very hot. Metal is very hot with hot glue under it. And once I have it secure enough, then I'm going to wrap it around the back. Same with this side. And we're just going to glue those two tabs down. Actually, yeah, we're going to glue those tabs down, and we'll cut off what we don't need once it's nice and glued and secured. And again, I'm squeezing it down with this piece of plastic so I don't burn my fingers. And we're going to do the same with the bottom. So, stupid move, I will say. I'm 57 years old. I have a broken body. I'm Humpty Dumpty. I should not have been climbing on rocks. That is the moral of the story. Note to self, even though you would like a beautiful picture of New England or New Hampshire behind your craft, note to self, you cannot climb rocks anymore. You're done climbing, Jill. I forgot I can't climb anymore. All right, once we have that secured, we'll flip it over. I'm going to put my glue down now, actually, on both sides. Flip it over, glue that, ooh, hot, and glue that down. So today is very warm, and I have a fan blowing on me, but I do not have the garage door open because I did not want to be swatting flies in here today. Look at how cute this is. How cute is that? Now, if you want, you can always put more wax. I did rub a little bit off over here with my thumb, so I'm going to see if there's enough on my paper towel to just zhuzh that up. You can always go back. You can zhuzh up the pieces that still have shininess to them. You know, this wax is so forgiving. I'm really, really thrilled with this. As soon as I get home, I am going to be buying this at my Walmart. I think my sister said it's in the paint section. So there it is. Now we're going to put a cute little hanger on top. So I took 6 natural beads. I can't tell you their diameter. I really can't. And we are going to just, I tied knots with little tails. We're going to just glue, there's my top. We're just going to glue our little tails on here and keep our little knot showing above the board. Let me see, before I do that, I'm going to measure, eyeball measure, so that I'm centered it about where I want it. All right, so we're just going to stick our And I'm going to take a piece of popsicle stick and cut it in half, I think. And I am just going to use those as anchors. After I glue my string down a little bit, I'll add some more glue and sandwich this little tail. See how I got stuff in front of me. See how I have that little tail? I'm going to sandwich that between these two popsicle sticks now. Or did I just lose one of my popsicle sticks? All right, we're going to cut the one I have in front of me again, because all we need is just to sandwich it. So I'm going to add a little bit more glue. And just finish it off with a piece of wood. And any little wood or popsicle stick will do. It just makes sure that you got a good grip. A good grip on that little string. Because hanging this by a little tiny tail is not a lot, you know. So now we can ask for it to hold up a little bit better. And my little tails, my little metal tails back here are fine. I'm not going to trim those off at all. All right, so here is our final project. How cute is that? I love how that came out. Let me go closer. Isn't that cool? Really cute. I love what it says. I have to turn it around. When you love what you have everything you need. Pretty cute. Pretty cute. Love that. All right, everyone, this is a great time for you to give me a thumbs up, and sharing is caring, so go ahead and share this video with your friends, family, and social media, and make sure you're subscribed. Hit that bell. If you don't want to be notified every time I upload a new video, don't hit all when you ring the bell, but make sure you're hitting subscribe. That really, really, really helps my channel grow. In my analytics, it says that 47% of my return watchers are not subscribed. I don't understand why. It's a free button. It doesn't cost a thing. Just hit subscribe. And then grab everybody in your family's phone and hit subscribe. Just kidding. Just kidding. All right, so thanks everybody for being with me in the garage craft room today. Feeling so blessed to have this space to here while I'm on vacation, and I get to craft with you guys. So until the next time that I see you, be good and do good. Bye now.